Welcome to our Meet the Candidates interview series. I have David Nees running for the open seat in West Anchorage.
Well, it's not open. I'm contesting with Tim Steele.
Of course, but it's anyone's race, right?
Yeah, well, it's, you throw the incumbent out or put somebody new in or keep the incumbent. That's the choice.
So what makes you the most qualified for this seat?
I'm the conservative, non-budget busting candidate. I don't believe spending more money is a good way to go.
Okay, so if you are elected, what's the first issue you want to address or first action you want to take?
One of the first actions I would encourage the Assembly to do is reinstate the spending cap and get it back out in front of the voters. It was thwarted at the court level. The Assembly could have put it in front of the voters. So one of the first actions will be try to get it on the November ballot so we know whether or not citizens want us to spend more money or keep it within the budget.
Speaking of the budget, what do you think of the budget the Assembly just passed?
The Assembly's budget is $9 million over the spending cap. It also includes some fancy in the bond kind of language that commits the people to, if they do the fire bonds, they're committing to $2.5 million a year in personnel costs for the paramedics to drive those paramedic vans, which means it's not in the tax cap technically. So it's kind of a sleight of hand. So.
You think it's a little sneaky?
It has been done before. A lot of people don't realize that in the convention center, they tripled the bed tax, and 1/3 goes to paying off the debt, 1/3 goes to the city, and 1/3 goes to promoting the convention center. A lot of people don't understand that's what you voted for. So yeah, sneaky is a good word.
Would you approve or support a sales tax as a way to diversify our tax base, maybe take some of the burden off property owners?
I like a seasonal sales tax. The problem is, the way I understand it, that if they do a sales tax, it's still within the spending cap, so it's not like free extra money out there. I would prefer some kind of tax that is either seasonal and catches our tourists, landing tax at the airport. If you just did $5 per person, would be approximately $100 million. That would be very seasonal, wouldn't affect anybody except people flying into and out of Anchorage. Okay.
What grade would you give Anchorage on how it's currently handling the homelessness issue?
I would give it an F. Basically, we haven't really made a dent in the homeless population. They've been doing surveys for better part of 15 years. We keep about 400 people out on the street. We've housed about 180 of them, but the cost to house them is tremendously expensive. It's been a very good industry for the nonprofits. They have done very well and gotten a lot of federal money from it. It hasn't fixed the homeless problem in Anchorage.
So what would you suggest?
There's a really good model down in the lower 48, and I always mess up the name of the town, so I'm not going to try, but Hannibal, Missouri, I believe, might not be. And what they did is they decided that the charity work is what religious do and what people that want to do it do. And the city's not really supposed to be in the business of charity work, but they could be in the business of coordinating charity work. And so what they did is a program where they have every person that's getting charity in the town has to have an ID card, so that I can't go get a free turkey 4 times in a row at Thanksgiving. I can get one for my family. I can't go get the school backpack program 3 or 4 times at different areas. We have people that are using a system. It also, when you give them an ID like that, you can get them lined up for services. If they're a veteran, you can get them veteran housing. If they're somebody that's from a Native corporation, you can line them up with the Native corporation, give them their medical services. We have a completely disjointed, non-coordinated system of dealing with everything. And the mayor hired a $180,000 homeless coordinator, but they just coordinated the money. They didn't coordinate the homeless.
The mayor wants to add 56 more officers in the next fiscal year, police officers. Do you think there are other ways the Muni can improve public safety in addition to or other than adding more officers on the street?
Well, Anchorage historically has had between 340 and 390 officers. Our crime rate has been relatively flat. It's increased actually as we've added officers, and our response time has dropped. So if you're calling 911, it's actually slower for them to get there now than it was 2 years ago when we had less police officers. You add a tremendous cost to the city. The police budget raised the whole budget by 5% by adding those officers. And you have a long-term cost because they'll all be eligible for PERS and the retirement benefits. So you're committing to the future. Is it the best allocation? I don't think so. I think you have to have more of a community policing approach, because right now all they're doing is responding. There's no prevention going on. The mayor has decided to target Mountain View and I believe downtown with community policing. I'm from West Anchorage. I want it out in West Anchorage. I need my section of town to be just as safe as anywhere else in town.
The mayor has also said he will not allow our police department to round up refugees for the immigration service, even under the threat of losing federal funds. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, we get a lot of federal funds. That's kind of a dangerous way to go. I think that's INS's job. If INS requests from the city or from the police department to help them, it would be like ignoring the FBI's request. That's just a political positioning. That's not good business. Our business is to make sure we get our federal dollars and our state dollars and not to do anything that will threaten those.
Do you think Anchorage should allow ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft to operate here?
I've actually testified in front of the assembly and said yes. But I think at the same time you have a balancing act. We created a monopoly with our taxi cab medallion system. And those people have money invested in it. We made a currency. You have to make some way of compensating those people. If the assembly doesn't do it, then the courts will do it for the assembly and we'll be paying for it. So I like Uber, used it, like Lyft, used it. They're great. Taxi cabs have a good business, but I don't know why we created a monopoly and are going to block people coming in to compete. Competitiveness is what built America.
So your vote would be yes?
My vote would be absolutely a yes vote.
Okay, last question. What is one promise that you would like to make to voters right now that you will fulfill if elected?
One promise I would make Anchorage an all-American city to the best of my efforts before I walked out of office. We haven't been one for 20 years, and we are definitely an all-American city.
What's your definition of an all-American city?
There's a qualifier in there when you go in there. It's basically one that's got low crime rates, good business, great place to be, and it just fits all the parameters. There's actually a set list. I think the last time we were in there is 1987.
That's your goal?
That's my goal.
Get us back in the club?
Yep.
All right. David Nees running for the seat in West Anchorage. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much.